Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Rive to receive the top 10 stocks to buy right now. We're about 2 months away from Apple likely introducing a new VR or AR headset. And I think right now we need to think about who's going to be building content for that. When Apple introduces a device like this, they're never the only one creating software for that device. So what is this going to be used for, and what are the companies that are going to get a boost from Apple? One that I think we need to talk about more is Snap. This is not a company that is competing with Apple in the same way that Meta is. And Meta was clearly a target of Apple's app tracking transparency changes. Meta's Oculus devices are actually using an Android operating system. And for some of them, you need to have an Android device to get them running. So those two companies are not likely working together. With them kind of falling by the wayside, I think the likely partner here is going to be Snap. And there are some reasons to think that Snap is actually one of the leaders in the AR space. If you have used their apps or any of their filters, you would know that Snap has actually been one of the companies using augmented reality and Apple's AR kit for longer than anybody else. And I would argue that they have more users using it than even Apple does itself. So I want to dig into what that partnership might look like, what the content on Apple's headsets might look like from Snap, and how the company could benefit. My name is Travis Hoyam. Thank you for watching Rive Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content and turn on notifications so you know when a new video comes out. Let's first look at what Snap's financials look like, because I think that's a good place to start from an investment perspective. This is a fairly large company, $4.6 billion in revenue, generating positive cash flow, but it's not making money from a net income perspective, in large part because of stock-based compensation. So that's something that management has talked about easing up on in the future, but this is another Silicon Valley type company, even though they're based down in LA, that just pays out too much money in stock-based compensation. So we'll see if that changes. They've also been hit recently from a pullback in advertising. That's something that has affected a lot of companies who are reliant on advertising revenue. Snap in particular is reliant on a lot of brand-based revenue. So that's why they may have been hit a little bit harder in late 2022 than a lot of other companies. But if we look at what they've been building in AR, they've actually been working on this for quite a long time, even if you don't realize exactly what they've been doing. These are the spectacles glasses that Snap has been building. This is the third or fourth generation of those glasses, and they've kind of been a little bit better over time. The first ones were really just a camera that would capture things in the world, and then you could put augmented reality images on top of them after they were recorded. We're moving to the phase where you're going to be able to sense the space around you and then put 3D objects in that space with those augmented reality glasses, but kind of advancing slowly and not very popular at this point for a lot of users. So they're not selling a ton of them, but they have absolutely built the content behind them and the software that goes into them. I'll get to that a little bit later and show just how big that ecosystem is. The other thing I wanted to highlight before we get to some of the AR content is how Snapchat is using AI as its Snapchat Plus service, which is a subscription service. You can now have a chat bot in artificial intelligence that is using actually the OpenAI APIs that's customized specifically for Snapchat and have a conversation with it. So again, as we think about how are we going to use something like the Apple headset, could we be in an augmented reality world where you're having a conversation with an AI? That's potentially a use case within the Snapchat app. Now let's go to some of the developer tools, because this is where I think Snap actually does a really good job of hiding the augmented reality technology itself that it's building. It's not asking you to go into AR or anything like that. It's just doing fun things with it, like the face filters. But somebody has to create this content. And so there's a camera kit that developers can use. You can see some of the impacts here that people have built. A lot of times advertisers will pay to have things built here. Shopping, there's a creator marketplace. This is where you can even go in and discover AR talent and people who have been building things in AR. But the numbers behind this are really large. 300,000 lens creators. This is their lens kit. 3 million lenses or things that these creators have built and launched on Snapchat and Snap Camera and Spectacles. And then 5 trillion lens views. That's on mobile apps, not only from Snap's mobile apps, but other apps as well. I want to show just a few of these. This is a lens kit that is built for utility. They have entertainment purposes. This is a lot of what people probably are interacting with. Shopping, so seeing what things look like on you. Self-expression, games, and education. This is a really booming place in augmented reality, is using it for education purposes. And there's a lot of apps that are using it as well. These are just a few of the examples, but you can see here that Snap AR is behind a lot of companies and what they're doing. But again, we aren't at the point where this has moved beyond kind of a toy within apps like Snapchat. So the question for investors is, does something like an Apple headset push the industry and push Snap to be a bigger part of this ecosystem? And I think that really could be the case. I think the company's moves in artificial intelligence and trying to use that as a chat tool, something that you can actually talk to, is really interesting. And I think we may see similar experiments in augmented reality with Apple's headset. And there simply aren't that many places where people are going to be building content. So Snap is a likely beneficiary here. And to be honest, what does Snap have to lose? I think that's really the thing to look at with augmented reality and some of these new technologies coming out, is that this is the one company that has a ton of users, it has a ton of technology behind it. It's not burning a lot of money, but it kind of needs to find a direction. Where do they go in the future? What do they bet on? The spectacles don't seem to be a product that's going to get a lot of traction. So what do they bet on? And I think augmented reality and artificial intelligence are two natural things for Snap to really invest a lot of time and energy into. When we see this Apple headset come out, likely in early June, potentially launching later this year, I'm really interested to see if Snap is one of the companies that develops for it first, because I think whether it officially partners with Apple or not, it has been using a lot of the tools, a lot of the AR kit tools that Apple has created and Snap has at its disposal. It's been using a lot of those tools for a long time to do a lot of interesting things and basically create its own platform for developers that could make it a natural fit for this device. Now, I don't think that Apple headset is going to sell millions and millions of devices anytime soon. This is probably going to be a very costly device. But as we see more and more of those in the world, if it's adopted on a wide level, maybe it increases people's interactions with the Snap ecosystem of products and the Snap AR products and brings a little more attention to them. So this is one of those companies that investors who are looking for growth aren't going to be able to look at the past and see where Snap has succeeded, because it's frankly lost a lot of the battles with companies like Meta and Facebook. But maybe in the future, those things change as we start interacting with content a little bit differently. Maybe augmented reality and artificial intelligence are going to be things that we're interacting with more than we are with things like news feeds in the past. Snap could be a clear leader if that happens. Given all the legwork it's put into AR over the last decade or so, I think this could be a natural winner as Apple moves into the space even more. But what do you think about this? Is Snap a company that could actually benefit from Apple's new headset? I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Arrive Investing, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you here next time.